Hello and welcome to this part of the reading section, which is the fill in the blank select from list. So in the previous videos, we went over the drag and drop, which is also a fill in the blanks. But in this question, you get a list that you need, or drop down that you need to select options for each option. That's the only difference that there is. So like this, you will get a drop down where you need to click and you'll get 4 options to choose from for each blank. Okay. Usually get around 4 item sets in the exam for this section, and each passage will have between 4 to 6 blanks and will have 4 options to choose from each blank. You get 1 mark or 1 credit for each correctly completed blank, and you get 0 for an incorrect option. So again, all the strategies that are from the drag and drop apply to this part of the fill in the blanks as well. I'm just going to quickly summarize it very shortly. So fill the blanks as you try to go, trying to guess the answer before looking at the options. Ensure that the blanks that you're selecting does make grammatical sense. Minimize any unsolved blanks here because there's no negative marking. So you just want to ensure that you're filling everything as you go. Look around the blank to if you're unsure and if you can't get the correct answer just by looking at the options given. So I'll give you a short example to illustrate this point. So let's look at this particular sentence. Clive was deeply hurt by the sudden death of his mother due to cancer. He was sent to boarding school with the strict rules and blank headmaster. He resented the place and missed home. Now in this particular example, if we were just to look at this particular sentence in isolation, with the strict rules and blank headmaster, he resented the place and missed home. So any one of these options could make sense. It could be insensitive headmaster, it could be egoistic, it could be cool-headed, it could be purposeful. So any one of this could make sense. But if you read the previous sentence that was given here, it said that this Clive, the student, was deeply hurt by the sudden death of his mother due to cancer. So his mother died, and so based on that, his mother's death, why would he resent the headmaster or the place, the boarding school that he was sent to even more? So it could be that purposeful, but if his headmaster was purposeful, he wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily. If he was cool-headed as well, it wouldn't be a good thing. If he was insensitive, meaning that his mother died and the headmaster wasn't sensitive to the fact that this boy's mother just died, then that could be a reason why he resented the place as well. So if I were to choose between insensitive and egoistic, insensitive makes more sense given the fact that his mother died recently. So this is an example of when looking at the previous sentence can help you solve a particular blank, and you might get a few instances of this in exam, so be prepared for this as well. That's why it's important to read through the entire passage that is given. Do not overanalyze. If you're unsure, just pick any answer that appears right and move on. Okay, so now let's look at an actual example and see how I would go about solving it, and I'm going to explain it to you as I do it. The dictionary gives us an even broader definition for poison: to exert a harmful influence on or to pervert. Dr. Martin blank refined sugar as a poison because it has been depleted of its life forces, vitamins and minerals. So I would say, so they're talking about a particular poison, and then they're talking about refined sugar. So, and they're talking about this Dr. Martin. So Dr. Martin discovered sugar. It can't be discovered because I'm sure sugar was discovered before that. Consume sugar, like why would he consume refined sugar as a poison? Organized, it could be organized or it could be classified, but classified is more appropriate because you're putting it into a particular category, whereas organizing is just I'm organizing my desk or I'm organizing my files. Classifying is where you're putting it into a particular category, like how you classify animals and plants. So he's classifying sugar as a poison. What is left consists of pure refined carbohydrates. the body cannot blank this refined starch and carbohydrates unless the depleted proteins, vitamins, and minerals are present. Are present. So the body cannot authorize the starch and carbohydrates. Why would the body authorize something? Elaborate means to explain. Again, the body, I wouldn't imagine that the body explains something. Utilize, it could be profit. Body cannot profit this refined. It does not make grammatical sense, so that straight away can be eliminated. So utilize is correct because it says that the body, utilize means to use, so the body cannot use this refined starch unless the depleted proteins, vitamins, and minerals are present. So that does make sense. So that's why I would say like utilize as the correct option here. Nature supplies these elements in each plant and quantity sufficient to metabolize the carbohydrate in that particular plant. There is no excess for any other added carbohydrates. Incomplete carbohydrate metabolism results in the forming of toxic metabolites such as pyruvic acid and abnormal sugars containing 5 carbon atoms. So now they're talking about what happens when you just consume incomplete carbohydrates or sugar. They're saying some toxins gets released. So pyruvic acid blank in the brain and nervous system, and the abnormal sugars in the red blood cells. So it could be visits in the brain, which could be possible, hinders in the brain, delivers in the brain, accumulates in the brain. So accumulates sounds to be the better option. Visits in the brain, you typically do not, like I visit the zoo, or I visited the office. I do not say I visit in the office or in the brain. So that's just grammatically incorrect. Hinders in the brain as well. It's not grammatically correct. Delivers could be delivers. It could be accumulates, but accumulates is a more appropriate option here given the context. These toxic metabolites interfere with the respiration of cells. They cannot get sufficient oxygen to survive and function normally. In time, some of the cells blank. This interferes with the function of a part of the body and is the beginning of degenerative disease. So they're talking about the toxins coming in the way of the respiration of cells. So because they do not get oxygen and cannot survive, some of the cells, so obviously it is a negative thing that is associated with them. So thrive means to like prosper and to be alive. So this is an opposite of what they're talking about in the previous sentence. Heal could be, but it's not really what they're talking about here. They're talking about a negative part because the cells cannot function normally. So die is the correct option. Phone, this doesn't make any sense. So die is the correct option in that sentence, given taking into consideration the previous sentences over here. Because if they were talking about something positive, thrive and heal could have been a potential correct option. So again, this is the answers again here on screen. Again, or in this particular fill in the blanks, your ability to identify, to know the meanings of the different options presented is very important in figuring out what the correct answer is. And even in instances like this where accumulates in the brain, if you kind of read a lot of English, you know that those are words that kind of go well together. So again, your vocabulary and how much of text you consume on a regular basis will be an important part of how well you do in the fill in the blanks. There's very little in terms of tips that will help you out here, but just improving your vocabulary and your English in general is going to help you. So check out the improving your overall English part if you're struggling with the fill in the blank section. So that's it for this video and the reading section. I will see you guys in the listening section soon. Just keep in mind that after this particular the reading section gets over, you get a 10-minute break, which I highly encourage you to take. just to ensure that you are refreshed and ready to go for the listening section. So that's it, and I'll see you in the next video.